Hey y'all, so in this video I'm going to talk about anxiety, but first I do want to address why I'm posting this video a week later than I had originally said that I would, and that's honestly because my heart just was not in it this week. I posted the video last week, and although I was still talking about depression, I was coming at it from a different angle, and instead of telling my story, I was kind of getting more educational. So posting the video, I was very nervous actually, because I was like, what are people even going to care about this part of it? What if I don't get the same response? What if I don't get any response? And so about a few days later, a week later, I had not gotten near as many views, likes, comments, shares, none of that. And that's not to say, please go like my video, please go share my video. It did bother me. And I kept telling myself, I don't need to let it bother me, because I have no idea, out of the X amount of people who have watched it, how many of those people did I actually help? And so I kept telling myself, but it just wasn't working. I could not get that into my head. And so this weekend came along, and my husband asked me, are you going to post a video this week? And I said, I just don't want to. I don't want this to become a chore. I want to do this because I'm passionate about it. That's why I started it. And he was like, I totally understand. And I just really wanted a sign or some kind of affirmation to tell me I'm doing the right thing. So, it is very crazy how God works. So I actually got a letter in the mail this week, and I'm not going to say who from, because this person doesn't know that I am going to be talking about it. So if you're watching, though, thank you for the letter. It meant more to me than you even know. But the letter was basically just saying that I have no idea how many people I've helped, that they are so proud of me for what I've done, that they're praying for me, and that I need to continue doing what I'm doing. And that was just absolutely amazing. And then I was talking to someone else, and this person, I'm not going to say her name either, but she was a little bit worried about me just putting myself out there, because you never know how people are going to respond. And so she told me that it doesn't have to do with anxiety and depression, but she had been struggling with something, and she told her doctor about it, and she had for years kept that to herself and not told anyone, and she's finally gotten the help that she needs for that. And it meant the world to me that I had helped someone, and it had nothing to do with anxiety and depression, that I've helped people do other things. So just thank you so much for the love and support, and it was exactly what I needed to hear. Now to talk about anxiety. I guess the first question is, what is anxiety? It's not your every now and then nervousness that you may get maybe right before you take a big test, or maybe you are having to give a speech and you're standing up in front of a big crowd of people and you're nervous. That's totally natural to be nervous in situations like that. But anxiety is something that occurs so incredibly often, and it's anything from overthinking, or you can go into just like withdrawing, and just being so quiet because your head is just going at 100 miles an hour. And it's the overthinking is maybe you're at a restaurant with your friends and everyone orders their food, and everyone's saying like salad, vegetables, fish, like everyone's being like super healthy, and you just really want that cheeseburger, but you don't get it. You stick with a salad because you think, what is everyone else at this table going to think if I get a cheeseburger, or if I get chicken tenders that aren't grilled, that are fried? It's just little things like that. And for years and years and years, I've had the anxiety, and I always just kind of thought that I was just a baby. I would tell myself, I would talk to myself so horribly. I would tell myself all the time, Becca, get over it. It's not that big of a deal. Like, you're just being a baby. Like, you're embarrassing yourself. I would say horrible things to myself. And a couple of times I had people say those things to me as well, just because they didn't understand the situation, which I didn't understand the situation either. Anxiety also can consist of panic attacks. And if you've never experienced a panic attack, I hope that you don't. They're horrible. It's shortness of breath, it's fast heart rate, high blood pressure. But you have this feeling of just losing control, and you're shaking and you cannot gain control of your situation. And the longer that your panic attack goes on, the more dangerous it is for you. And people can have serious problems if they cannot gain control of their panic attacks fast enough. Panic attacks can also show up in agitation or anger, just because you can't gain control. And I guess it's just a sense of frustration. And so a lot of times the person's not really intending to be mean. They just don't know what else to do at this point. So they just try everything. So one thing that I've said before is that I have anxiety and depression. And depression is not caring at all, and anxiety is caring way too much. So you probably think that someone who has both, they probably cancel each other out, make life all happy and good, but that is not the case, unfortunately. There's constantly a battle in your head, and you never know what the outcome's going to be. You never know whether depression or anxiety is going to win that time. So having both may not be what it seems to other people who've never experienced. It's actually incredibly difficult to deal with. Some ways that I have some anxiety that people probably just think is crazy. When I'm out with my husband, for example, if we're on a date night, a lot of times I have to get him to ask someone else to take our picture, because I cannot get myself to ask someone else, because I just tell myself that I'm bothering them. It's a burden for them to take our picture, and so he has to do it for me. Most of the time he makes me at least try first, because he wants me to step out of my comfort zone, but he knows when enough is enough, and he knows when he needs to step in, which is amazing. Like, I've been so blessed to have him, because he has helped me. He's so understanding. He helps me get through the tough times. So I can't thank him enough. He's just been such a blessing in my life. But I'm going to talk about just some coping mechanisms for it. I think that anxiety is much easier to cope with than depression is. And just a big coping mechanism is get yourself out of the situation that is causing you anxiety. And I realize that is a lot easier said than done sometimes. But if you can, then do it. If not, maybe just take a bathroom break. Just go to the restroom. Just take a couple of minutes to yourself. Maybe give yourself a little pep talk. Just do what you got to do. One thing that I have used in the past, if I've worked it out with I worked it out with my husband, and I worked it out with my mom, but I've said, if I send you a text message that says blank, you need to call me and say, hey, I need you to come home. And that's just my little signal for you, like, hey, I need an excuse to get out of this situation. And another thing is if you can talk to someone that you are often in situations with, or maybe one of your best friends, talk to that person and let them know what's going on with you, and hopefully they would be willing to help you. One of my best friends, I know when we go out, maybe to restaurants or to like a concert or something, and there's so many people surrounding like the bar area, she'll step up and order my drinks for me, because she can elbow her way through there to the top of the line and tell them what she wants, and I cannot. I don't have the courage to do that. And so she steps up for me so many times, and I'm so thankful for her, and she's been so understanding about the whole situation. Another way to cope is just by deep breathing. I know that may sound a little bit silly, but there's just something about the deep breaths, closing your eyes, just really drowning out your surroundings. That helps you gain control. Lowers your heart rate, lowers your breathing. Another thing is gain perspective. Can you control it? Can you change it? Can you fix it? If you can't do any of those things, do not worry about it. Because what is the point of stressing out if you can't do anything about it? The outcome is going to be what it is. You have to just deal with it. And I know, I promise I know that is so much easier said than done. It definitely takes a lot of practice to get to that point, but you can do it. If you feel like you need to, definitely consult with your doctor. If maybe coping mechanisms just don't really work for you. Another thing that I said in the last video, and I'm going to say it in this one because it applies the same way, is be selfish. You come first, and you cannot take care of yourself if you cannot take care of other people if you're not taking care of yourself. So sometimes you just got to take a minute and just focus on yourself. And that is very, very important. Please do that. So guys, I just want to say thank you for watching. Thank you for the love and support. It really means more to me than you guys even know. I'm definitely the type of person that needs affirmation constantly. And my husband gives it to me constantly, but you know, sometimes I say, he's my husband, he has to say that. And that's not entirely true, but that's just how it feels sometimes. So the affirmation and the positive words that I'm getting from you guys, it means the world to me. So thank you so much. Thanks for watching, and I hope that you guys stay tuned for the next one.